topics for Kantipur Conclave this session is, can Nepal do IT? Newer technologies are emerging day by day, and even illiterate or semi-literate Nepali using a smartphone or a smart TV or any other gadgets that is governed by the information technology. And IT, that is the use of the computers and many other physical devices to create, process, store, and deliver the electronic data. That is only the principle or the theoretical interpretation, but it has much more beyond this. So we are going to discuss about, can Nepal do IT here in this platform? And our moderator is founder of Tangent Waves. He's a consultant, trainer, and an entrepreneur. More than 2 decades, he has the entrepreneurial experience. Mr. Suman Shakya is the moderator. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A very good afternoon to everyone who is here in this hall and who are not in this hall, who are listening to us and viewing us on YouTube. Thank you very much. Can Nepal do IT? A friend of mine returned from Gaza last week after being there for 3.5 months. She says that it has been a very big impact in her life and a life-changing moment for her. Because as we know, there are multiple restrictions in Gaza, and the only way people find an outlet to share thoughts, do business, or do anything for that matter, is IT or ICT. And she was amazed to see multiple innovations, multiple thought processes, be it in publishing books or startup entrepreneurship, or even on the policy side. IT has been very, very instrumental, and it is shaping the way the country is thinking of. Similarly, last week there was a talk program that I attended where a friend of mine from Microsoft was here, Sagun. He is based in Seattle, and among the 160,000 people who are with Microsoft, he is the head of Microsoft support system and provides a 24/7 support to the entire Microsoft products and services. And he says that he was initially based in Bangalore to set the back-end office to support, whether it is Xbox or Microsoft products. And it has to work 24/7. But then they had to shift to Philippines, because Philippines as a country offered a better infrastructure, better support from the policies, and now even a mom-pop shop in the Philippines does call centers and so on and so forth. So as a country, there has been an amazing impact on that side as well. We have also seen the power of IT in terms of what has been used to harness the presidential elections in US as well, be it the Barack Obama or President Donald Trump as well. At the same time, we have seen the social media movement where it has influenced governments in Africa, and at the same time, Me Too movements as well. Yesterday, during his inaugural address, the Prime Minister also mentioned of creating an environment that could give rise to another Facebook, Alibaba, Infosys, or Google in Nepal. So the intent from the government is also there. So can Nepal do IT? We have seen multiple businesses that are doing very well in Nepal, and we have some of them on our panel as well. And we've also seen companies like Incessant Rain or Cloud Factory, and Daraz, for example, Verix, WorldLink, Vianet, and so on and so forth. So we have seen multiple avenues. And today we have a wonderful panel where we have Akanksha Tyagi from Social Friendly. She is the founder there from India. We also have Biswas Dhakal, who is the president of F1 Soft Group, and Asheem Basnyat, who is the regional director of Pathao. So I'm sure that we'll have a wonderful discussion. Welcome, panelists, as well. Few house rules. We have to keep within our time limit. We started late, but the organizers have given a little extra time for us to wrap up this session. So please do hold on. to your hunger pangs, because after this, the lunch would be waiting. But I'm sure that if the discussion is engaging, you'll be here. The other is that if you would like to ask questions, and if you have not downloaded the Kantipur Conclave app, please do so. And please post your questions. And when you do post your questions, it'll be good if you address that question to a particular panelist here. So it will make my job a little easier. So moving on to our discussions with our panelists, I would like to first go to Biswas, who is, in my terms, the uncrowned king of the financial services in the digital space. And we'd like to know from him what has brought him here till now. Over to you, Biswas.
Thank you, Suman. So we have created like a financial disruption, we say, in this country with few mobile financial services product like mobile banking and e-seva. But back in 2004, when we started with the domain registration service, and slowly we moved to website development. And then we figure out that's not the thing that we are looking for. And then we moved to alert-based service, and then mobile banking service. And then we found that's the thing which we need to explore. And this country really needs a disruption in a banking technology. And we started developing and copying the concept from abroad, what is needed for the country like Nepal. And then we tried to deploy in various financial institutions to give them the ease of banking. And now we're able to serve more than 8 million direct customers through our services. And people right now, if you receive SMS in your mobile, your account is debited and your account is credited. That's the technology we have deployed in this country. And I assume like almost 70%, 80% of our audience use directly, indirectly our service, which we have started from 2008 till today. And we also serve with the oldest and biggest payment gateway called e-seva, which we have established more than 41,000 outlets across Nepal to serve people which doesn't know how to use technology. Let's say if my parent doesn't know how to use technology and want to pay a bill, they can reach out to the outlet and use our service by requesting them to just to pay my bill. On top of that, maybe he needs to say spend some money to facilitate the bill payment. So what I believe is we have just started our journey, and how I want to relate that is like, I'll say that in Nepali, हामीले एउटा ठुलो नाउ चाहिँ बनाएको छौं, भर्खर त्यसलाई चाहिँ डिप्लोय गरेका छौं र 500-600 वटा डिफरेंट इक्विपमेन्ट त्यसमा जडान गरेका छौं, जुन वी से that's our team. The biggest challenge right now is how to fine tune that, how to balance that, कसरी त्यो सबैजनालाई चाहिँ राम्रोसँग फंक्सन गर्नको लागि चाहिँ हामीले ल्याउन सक्छौं, so that we can reach out to our destiny in a smooth way. Thank you.
Thank you, Biswas, for letting us know what your company is doing. I'll move on to Asheem. In Kathmandu, I've heard jokes about how Pathao actually engineered the government clampdown on ride shares. You know? That's because to gain very, very affordable publicity. And from an unknown brand to a very easy visibility over a couple of months. So what has brought you to Kathmandu, bringing Pathao here?
First of all, we did not engineer anything. A clarification, if I may. It was 2016, I presume, when all of us were in the unofficial blockade phase, when we were hitching rides with each other. There were a bunch of very young innovators that had started a company in Bangladesh. And after 2 years, they wanted to expand abroad. And what we needed over here is a holistic platform where ride sharing would be a key component. My team and I, we were working on getting investments, finding the possible technological partner, and build a team to run a company like this. And fortunately, Pathao wanted to go to one of the South Asian countries. So we got introduced casually, online. And it took a year for them to come to Nepal. That is bringing the brand to Nepal. Now, from growing into what we are today, from what we were 3 months back, and we've only been in the market for a little over 4 months. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights. I could confidently tell everyone, the team that I get to work with, a very small team, have put in their heart and mind in making Nepal a better place. We managed to change the thought of how ride-sharing works. Before, if I'm not mistaken, the wait time used to be 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the type of vehicle. Now we've decreased it to 5 minutes. So once you order a ride, book a ride, you get on the ride in less than 5 minutes. That is because we disrupted the way people were commuting from point A to point B. And that has given us a lot of pleasure on how Nepalese right now are going about in Kathmandu. So yeah, but we did not engineer the whole thing.
Very good to know, Asheem. Moving on to Akanksha, I was very intrigued by your company's name, Social Friendly. Many of my friends who tell me that I post a lot on Facebook and all, there must be a lot of social unfriendly people also. Or is that so? What does your company do? Could you let us know how did you start social friendly, and what does it do now?
So I hope you all can hear me. Yeah. So Social Friendly, we are basically a digital consulting company. Thank you. Yeah, now it's better. So Social Friendly is a digital consulting, and the core competency being that we bridge the gap between offline, which is the real world, and online world, which is powered by internet. Because we believe that the real world, offline world, and online are not actually two different worlds per se, but actually hemispheres of the same planet. So, and we do it across all platforms, be it branding, be it communication, be it IT, or skills, or finance. So anything and everything you talk about, we take it offline, we understand your core values and what the organization means to you, be it for individuals or for organizations. And if you're existing online, we sort of interpret how the atmosphere and structures for you can be offline. So Social Friendly has had a very interesting journey. We've been working majorly in this part of the world, namely India, of course, because we're based out of Delhi, Nepal, a little bit, and Bhutan to a certain extent. If I now come back to the panel that we were talking about, we do some certain IT consulting also. So whenever somebody comes up to us, there's a perspective that we sort of give them. So be it for individual or for organization, and like we are talking today, for Nepal as a country, if you ask me, can Nepal do IT? I'll say, surely, definitely, why not? I mean, if you look at the internet statistics, you have around 63% penetration. There are approximately 50% or excess, plus 50% mobile users. So what is stopping us? And we all know about the population and the generation. We are mostly on the youth side. So, but then, if you ask me, what's the roadmap, how to go about it? So the first question, the first perspective that we need to understand is the users versus creators. When I say users versus creators, users, how does Nepal sort of see itself, say, in the next decade, in the next 10 years? Do you want a Alibaba or say a Facebook, or just say a Flipkart for that matter, to come here and establish itself, or you want to have sort of an environment where you give encouragement to more people like Biswas and my friend Asheem here to do more such good work. And if we say that, yes, we want to be creators, we want to have that sort of IT hub happening here, right here, we want that action in-house, then the next question that comes up is, okay, what are those 10 areas that we want to focus? Because see, IT is information technology. You know, the word itself is huge. So what are those areas that we want to focus upon? And understanding that is not just, so IT is not just a matter of sort of understanding what are the trends around the world and implementing it. That's not how it should be done. But instead, sort of understanding the geography, understanding the culture, the language, and everything and anything that goes around it, and then giving a solution to a common problem. I would want to sort of substantiate what I'm trying to say by giving an example. Recently, I went to Thailand, and I was just in Krabi for about 7 days. So to move around, we ordered a ride from Grab. So Grab has this chat option where you can chat with your driver. You know, our female driver was telling us where she was and when is she going to arrive. So whenever she was typing, I could see there was a word pop up. It said translating. So what actually was happening is that she was writing in her own local language, and the app was translating that to my preferred language. So that's what it is, that yes, IT, definitely, if you want to do it, you can do it. But how do you make it your? How do you solve your personal, country-specific, geography-specific problem rather than just implementing the trends?
Thank you, Akanksha. Maybe on the next round, I'll possibly ask you to share some of the examples, you know?
Sure.
Moving over to Biswas, and sensing that we have limited time as well, we'll combine few questions together and maybe you can give your thoughts. F1 Soft overall, through its services, or even eSeva for that matter, I understand it already does for the utility bills 12% of telecom bills in Nepal, you know, around 15% of electricity, and 20% of domestic flights. Now you also have a friend at the Prime Minister's office also influencing policy. So are you trying to sort of, what are your plans, you know? What would you are currently doing now, and what do you intend to do in the future?
Thank you, Suman. I want to answer this in Nepali so that there won't be any confusion. F1 Softले आफूलाई भनौँ न के बनाउन र के गर्न खोजिरहेछ भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ we really want to be Google, we really want to be Amazon of this country. किन भन्दाखेरि if you see Google as a Pathao, Asheem दाइ यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ, total हिजो प्यानलमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो. So this technology somehow use Google platform. So what we want to see in future, F1 Soft को value के हो भन्दाखेरि, we want to see thousands of entrepreneurs riding in our technology and building their business. So हाम्रो लागि हाम्रो success, हाम्रो लागि हाम्रो future के हो भन्दाखेरि, we want to create a platform, we want to create a technology. त्यो technology ले thousands of entrepreneurs ले चाहिँ आफ्नो business बनाउन सकोस्, आफ्नो business create गर्न सकोस्. And we don't want to dominate or भनौँ न कसैलाई चाहिँ compete गर्नै नआओस् भन्ने होइन. We want to show them the way how to do it, and we want to give them the direction how to do it. And we are always there to help young entrepreneurs if they really want to seek advice and then the support from what we have learned in past and what will be better for this country. So मैले देखेको F1 Softले चाहिँ हामी टेक्नोलोजी नै हाम्रो फाउन्डेसन हो र टेक्नोलोजीलाई नै हामीले लिएर हामीले चाहिँ इनेबलरको रूपमा चाहिँ हामी काम गर्न चाहन्छौँ र फ्युचर हामीले चाहिँ वी वान्ट टु बी अ बिग कम्पनी एन्ड डेफिनेटली द्याट platform allows multiple players to come and enjoy what we have done and achieve in our tough time.
Thank you, Biswas. I'm sure that all Nepalis would wish you all a best of luck also, so that we have a company in Nepal which can also be showcased at the global stage where such things are happening. Coming to Asheem, the group of friends who also told me the first thing also told me that you are very smart in entering the market through the back door and to capture the market which somebody else has already developed. So are you just going to stick to ride sharing, or Pathao has different plans as well?
All right. First of all, was the market developed? Would be one question that I would like to ask everyone. Yes, there were competition.
Possibly I was saying that I heard, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, that now 85% of the rides that happen now happens through Pathao.
That is what I have been told. That is what the data that from various places that we've collected shows that we do a lot of rides. That is why the traditional taxis were threatened, because ride sharing in Nepal was here for the last 2 years. Hardly anyone bothered to knock on their doors. 3 months after we launched, 3 months and 6 days to be exact, the crackdown began. We have been disrupting, and like he disrupted the MFS, we disrupted the way people were moving, the way people wanted to move, way people want their logistic to happen. So there will be a lot of pushbacks from a lot of strong unions, and we are ready for that. Are we entering into other market? Yes, we are entering into other verticals. One of the verticals that was launched mid-Jan was parcel. As of now, we are the fastest on-demand logistics support company in Kathmandu, besides ride sharing. Is that what we'll only do? No, we have a lot of places that we could be in and make a difference. So yes, the future is there, and we are inching towards the future.
Thank you, Asheem. I'm sure Pathao would do very well in Kathmandu and overall in Nepal as well. Akanksha, when you talked about some of the campaigns that you have done in India or in Nepal or in Bhutan, could you give us an example as to how maybe a traditional big behemoth, a big large PSU or company or an organization can maybe take help of your services to become more IT friendly or more savvy or connect to the users or customers?
So through social friendly, our core objective is to not just have market expansion, because obviously any business would love that, but also to have a sustainable way of conducting business, and that ultimately which leads to a sustainable environment when it comes to business or economics or anything in general. So in this part of the world, one of the gaps that we've noticed and we've been working towards it is majorly awareness. Awareness when it comes to anything around IT, whether it's about the IT solutions or the back end. You know, if I take a small example, the common problem that we've seen in India and Nepal and Bhutan and especially this part of the world is that if you're making a website, then a very small factor called SSL, which ensures your website's security so that you can prevent hacks, people are not aware of it. So you must have noticed that a website says HTTP and HTTPS, certain websites are. So that's a very small aspect of it. So then you have to sort of spend a lot of time explaining them that, okay, why is this important? What is SSL? So things like that. So we've been working a lot in creating such sort of awarenesses as of now, rather than just going out and pitching our products and services. Yes, we do a lot of digital consulting when it comes to say IT project management or creating ERP solutions, and also implementation to a certain extent. But majorly we've been doing trainings, be it social media. So I go about 4 times a year to Bhutan to just give social media trainings. What is social media? What sort of content should go out, especially for their country, their geography? What are the challenges that they are facing? How do they counter it? So yeah, that's the area where we've been focusing as of now.
Okay. Last month, my daughter had to submit her small project in her school, and it was supposed to be an autobiography that she had to write. She finished her assignment, then she came to me and said, "Baba, can you open your laptop and open your Facebook?" I said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I just want to see your timeline." I said, "Please don't post anything." I said, "Fine." So after half an hour, she comes back and says, "I want to print these 5 photographs." And there I saw that I had posted when she was small, when she went to school, when she had her first birthday, and then as we moved up, Then I realized that nowadays we don't dig into our own laptops to see our own timeline, but we have to depend on Facebook to see what we have done on our life, But that poses a big question as well. While that may sound good, but at the same time, a lot of our information is in public, and it also maybe raises a lot of questions on the security aspect of data. As the theme of the session is, can Nepal do IT? I'm going to Biswas, and because you have played a big role as well, what were your thoughts or recommendations, or what can a company do, what can users do, or what can the government do to facilitate this so that people feel more secure of their information, of their data?
So what I have seen and noticed is like we are very young on internet, and we are learning on using the social media, and then the learning to use the internet. So if you see like from 2008 to 2019, like 2% internet penetration to 65% internet penetration, and this because of only due to the social media. And from young age to the elder age, like everyone is in social media. Now, if you see, there are like so many viral content over the internet, and we can't even identify which is true and which is not. So the thing what the government and then the people, the company like ours needs to focus is on the to literate on the internet content, and advise everyone to be less exposed in the internet, so that what I personally feel threat is like maybe by 2020 we'll have a big achievement over the internet, over the like development and then the technology, but at the same time the youngsters depression ratio as well as the suicide ratio will be on the peak side. So if we didn't control ourselves on the social media and then the negative influential factor, then it will be a disaster for the country like us, where we really lack the knowledge of the content as well as the internet, and then the how to use, how to control. So your camera will be hacked, your microphone will be hacked and you don't know. And if we unable to literate the youngsters to use this kind of gadget in a sensible way, then there will be a big disaster. So I think the change should be like from ours, and we need to disseminate the information to youngsters and then the elders to use the internet and expose the control over the exposure.
So would you support the government in trying to curb these things, or the recent policies that have been brought around?
I don't have like a concrete concept on that part, but the thing is like there should be a other round. So we need to have a campaign. We need to have a like the social campaign over TVC, paper, media, everywhere, saying like the internet is good, but you need to use it in a responsible way. So it's like cigarette as well as liquor. So if you need, it needs to be controlled. So I think the information and then the knowledge needs to be transferred to the people rather than like having restrictive actions over the uses and then the utilization of the internet.
Similar question to Asheem. The government relies upon the 1993 Act for the transport, and we have seen that on media as well. But at the same time, there are genuine concerns about the safety of users and the breach of data as well, which, please correct me if I'm wrong, Pathao had issues in Bangladesh for that. So how do you ensure that these things are not repeated in Nepal?
Regarding data, let me start with data security. What we do in Nepal is for customer side, we only have their number, phone number, mobile number registered. If anything is to happen, the only thing that would leak would be the phone number. But if anything criminal has happened through the customer side, then their number only gets activated when they have had produced all the legal documents to the telcos. So the data center for the customer side is basically with the telcos, not with us. For the rider side, we ask them to submit the driving license, a valid driving license, a valid bill book, and their number. So that way we can ensure that the riders have been vetted by the government, and if they can ride or drive, then the government would have had given them the driving license. The registration is because we do not want any stolen motorbikes to be used through our platform, or a registered bike would be insured to a certain degree. And the phone number, again, for other information that might be required in days to come, but we do not have that. So that way the information is quite secured with us. We can dig in when and if need be, but we won't do that. In terms of physical security, we can track all the rides real time. Who is riding with whom and where are they going? Are they deviating from their original planned route? We can track if there is a fraudulent ride going on, and we can course correct real time. So that way, any kind of incidents and accidents can be avoided as far as possible. So yes, in terms of security, we are trying to push a pavilion rider helmet scheme, which the traffic tried to push in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. It did not succeed then, but we are taking time and we will be pushing it in days to come. That needs to go through awareness campaign instead of making them wear the helmet. So security is one of the biggest concern that Pathao or my team or I have in terms of ride sharing. We want it to be the best and the most secured in terms of information as well as physical security. So yes, it is very important, and we are doing our level best to ensure that everyone is secured.
So last question to Akanksha before we open the floor. Biswas just mentioned about how as we move towards data breaches and IT security, and people should curb what they do on the social media, it is possibly anti what your business does. Is that so? Or how does, because yesterday also we heard Miss World, Miss Nepal, Shrinkhala saying that she was barraged with fake accounts and overdosing she almost went into sort of a shell to do that. So how do you tackle these things, even for not just for individuals, but for organizations and companies, or on a larger format for the country as well?
So the first thing that we go to when we go up to somebody and we tell them that, see, online is just a reflection of the world that is offline. So the way you behave in real life, you should be behaving online. That's the first key line, and that has to be really, really understood. As you said, for organizations also, data security and data breach is such a big issue. And in fact, for users in general, we saw what happened with Facebook. But then also, see, IT security is it's a continuous process and it's a collaborative effort. When I say continuous process, you have to be on it. It cannot be a one-day thing. So if you're an organization, you have to understand that nothing when it comes to IT is hack-proof. If there's a lock, then obviously there's a key. But you have to be one step ahead. You have to understand what are the latest trends. How do you stop certain hacks to happen? What are the new softwares that are coming up? As I said, SSL, that's a very basic thing. But a lot of people around don't know. I also take digital marketing classes back in Delhi. So I tell my students, and most of them already have their own websites, that see, these are the security measures that you should be maintaining, and they're shocked. They said that we were not aware of it. So, it's a continuous process. You can, and for even if you're a social media user, how many of us do actually go to our privacy settings and look what is public and what's not? It's not like the options are not available. It's we're not aware, and we are not going there and actually accessing them. So yesterday, Shrinkla said that she was literally harassed by so many people online, and she, because she's a public figure. But then, I mean, so happens with fake news is also. But then social media does give you an option to report, right? And to mark spam. So when I said offline and online, it's the same world, like in real life, if you're heckled or harassed by somebody, you would go into the police and report it. That's the first thing that would come into your mind. So why is that not our reaction when the same thing happens online? Yeah, and then it's a collaborative effort. It has to be two ways, from the users and from the creators as well.
Okay, I think that's a strong message for everyone present here, to be mindful of what you do on social media and how correctly you should do it as well. So moving on to the questions, I have a few of them here on my app. And I think I've addressed Pratik's question to Biswas about the security aspect. And the second question is from Sujit Liutel, who says, can we see international payment gateway in Nepal any day soon? Is F1 Soft up to it?
Asheem.
This is with for Sujit. Sujit to Biswas.
Sujit, so we already have a payment gateway, international payment gateway in Nepal. So Nabil and Himalayan Bank started the international payment gateway. If you're talking about like sending money abroad using the payment gateway or buying stuff in Amazon or Alibaba, then that's not going to happen soon because of our economy and because of the liquidity we have, trade deficit, we say, central bank. So the ones we have a comfort of earning dollars, then we'll have that options to buy, purchase goods from the online platform like Alibaba and Amazon. But if you want to accept payment from abroad using international credit card from the foreigners, that's already available, and they're open for integration with the e-commerce. And the process is like you just need to sign up as a merchant with the Nabil or Himalayan Bank, and you need to integrate with your e-commerce site, and very next day you'll be able to receive dollars in your account.
Thank you. So the next question is, the last question, is to Asheem. This is from Sambhav, who asks, in a parallel universe, Tutal could have entered Bangladesh. What's different in that parallel universe?
I don't know. It depends. But if I had to take Toodle to Bangladesh, this is what I would do. Be more efficient at what you do. Don't stick to the technology that was there 10 years back. Evolve, and then repeat. That is what I would do.
Okay, so that's for the question, and possibly for the last closing remarks of 30 seconds each. We had this slightly broader topic of can Nepal do IT? So while we try to sort of narrow it down to what our work area is, but just to do justice to the theme, Now, what are your personal thoughts, each of you, for Nepal to be competitive, and what can, if Nepal can do IT?
So, like I said in my opening remarks, that yes, definitely Nepal can do IT, but then we need a constructive roadmap, because IT, as I said, it's a big umbrella. We need to be more focused. We need to understand that these are the skill sets that we are good at. These are the skill sets that we can create in-house, and then sort of go ahead with it. As I've seen that certain organizations here, think tanks like NEF, they do very nice reports, and recently they did doing business in Federated Nepal. Maybe more reports on concentrated on the IT sector to give a perspective to the young entrepreneurs who are outside the valley, who want to do something and have the dream, but don't really know how to put it into implementation. Maybe something constructive we can have in those lines.
Thank you.
Yes, I think we can do it. And in my belief, IT is the one vertical which will be recognized very soon as the highest GDP contributing in this country. And I think we need to focus on how to sell ourselves, how to sell Nepal brand over the IT across the world. And if we're able to do that, I think by 2025, we'll be establishing IT as the biggest contributor in our GDP.
Wonderful thought. Asheem?
IT might just be the industry where we can compete in global arena, because almost everyone is virtually new. Can we do it? Yes, we can. How do we do it? We would need a lot of support from the government instead of pulling our legs or bringing up new regulations that bind us. They should be more open-minded towards IT. They need to protect it, preserve what we have, and let us grow. And if I'm not mistaken, you could be one of the biggest IT players, not only in Nepal, but in the region, in a few years, if the government supports you, right? So yes, we can do it.
Yes, I think we can do it if the government provides an environment to help the IT companies and everyone else, where IT is now so pervasive in whatever we do. I think it is imperative for the government to also provide a congenial environment where all these companies and initiatives can flourish. For an example, if a movie like an Aquaman, it's in the entertainment sector, can top the box office as $1 billion with just one movie. Imagine the potential of IT. We have heard in the other sessions that if Nepal has to become a crossover the middle income status, then at least a sustained growth by Dr. Swarnim Wagle. He was saying that at least more than 10% growth, 8 to 10% was what the minimum is for the country to grow. And even I picked up a line which Xavier had mentioned, that Nepal, instead of seeing itself squeezed between two big countries, it should be seen as a pivot country rather than a transitional state. So I'm sure that there's amazing opportunities up ahead, and IT is going to be the core or the invisible partner in whatever all we do. Thank you, audience, for being very patient, and let's give the panelists a huge round of applause. Thank you very much. Suman, Shakya signing off. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Suman. Thank you, Akanksha, Asheem, and Biswas. Thank you very much.
Kantipur Conclave.